It was a quiet evening when the truth finally began to unravel. The sun had set, casting a pale silver glow across the room as Nkechi sat at the dining table, nervously glancing at the clock. Chijioke hadn't returned home by dusk, which was unusual for him. He had always made it a point to be with her in the evenings, even if only for a brief moment before retiring to bed. But tonight there was no sign of him. Nkechi tried to occupy her mind with tasks around the house, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the unsettling things that had been happening lately. The strange coldness in his touch, the eerie whispers at night, the sudden disappearances. She had dismissed it all as her imagination, but deep down she knew something was wrong. She was shaken from her thoughts by the sound of the front door creaking open. The familiar scent of Chijioke's cologne filled the room before she even saw him, and her heart leaped in relief. But as he stepped into the doorway, something was different. His presence felt off. Chijioke looked the same as always, but his smile, once warm and reassuring, now seemed strained, like he was holding something back. "You're home late tonight," Nkechi said, trying to hide the nervousness in her voice. I was beginning to worry. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice smooth, but there was a strange undertone to it, as if his words were being dragged out. "I had some matters to attend to." "Nothing to worry about, my love." As she reached out to touch his arm, she noticed how cold his skin felt. Not just cool, but icy, like touching marble. "Chijioke," she whispered, a growing sense of dread settling in her stomach. "Why are you so cold?" He stepped back slightly, avoiding her touch, and for the first time Nkechi saw something flicker in his eyes. Before she could ask him anything more, Chijioke spoke, his voice trembling ever so slightly. "You need to know something, Nkechi. There are things about me. Things I should have told you sooner." Nkechi felt her heart race. She had sensed it for a while now, this feeling that something wasn't quite right, but hearing the words come from his mouth made everything suddenly feel unbearably real. "What are you talking about?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Chijioke walked toward the window and looked out into the darkness, his back to her. "I am not like other men," he began slowly. "You must have wondered why you've never met my family, why I can disappear for hours and return like nothing has changed." Nkechi nodded, her mind racing. "Yes, I've wondered about that, but I didn't want to ask too many questions. You always had an answer, and I trusted you." Chijioke turned back to face her, his eyes full of sorrow. "I should have told you. I've lived for centuries, Nkechi. I am not a man like you think. I am a spirit, a ghost, bound to the earth by a curse. My body is not my own. It is a vessel I inhabit, a form I have taken to walk among the living. But this form, it is fading, and when it fades completely, I will be lost forever." Nkechi's breath caught in her throat. "A ghost?" Her voice was thick with disbelief. No, this can't be true." Chijioke took a step toward her, reaching out, but this time she instinctively recoiled. "I know this is difficult to believe, but it is the truth. I was once a man long ago, living in a village much like this one. But I was cursed by a powerful spirit who saw fit to rob me of my life. For years I searched for a way to lift the curse, to return to my true self. But nothing worked. And then I found you, Nkechi." He paused, his expression softening, as if the next words pained him. "You were the one I needed to find. You, with your love and warmth, could have broken the curse. But I couldn't bear to tell you the truth. I loved you too much to risk losing you. So I kept the secret, and I pretended to be what I wasn't." Tears welled up in Nkechi's eyes as everything she had believed about her life with Chijioke shattered. But why? Why me? Chijioke stepped closer, his voice filled with desperation. Because you have the power, Nkechi. Your love is so strong, so pure, that it can free me from the curse. If you choose to love me, truly love me, I can break free. But if you reject me, if you turn away from me, I will fade completely, and I will be lost to the realm of spirits forever. Nkechi felt as though the ground had been ripped out from under her. She stumbled backward, her hand shaking. I don't know what to believe, she whispered. You're telling me you're a ghost? That we've been living together like this for how long? Almost a year now, Chijioke said, his voice breaking. Every moment with you has been a gift, Nkechi, but it has also been a torment. To love you this much, and to know that I am not what I appear to be. It is a burden I have carried alone. She sat down slowly, her mind spinning. The room felt too small, as though it was closing in on her. She wanted to scream, to run, to escape, but something kept her rooted to the spot. She loved him, she truly did, but could she bear to love a ghost, a being that wasn't real? Chijioke sank to his knees in front of her, his eyes pleading, I need you, please. Love me. Set me free. If you refuse me, I will vanish, and you will never see me again. But if you choose to accept me, if you choose to be with me, as a spirit and a man, I can be whole again. Tears streamed down her face, her heart torn in two. She had dreamed of a life with Chijioke, a life of love and family, but this was something she had never expected. A ghost, a man bound by an ancient curse. Could she ever accept that? She looked into his eyes, seeing the love, the pain, and the uncertainty there. She realized that no matter how impossible the truth seemed, her love for him was real. I don't know if I can do this, Chijioke, she whispered. But I can't bear the thought of losing you. I will love you, even if it means accepting what you are. Chijioke's face softened, and he reached out to take her hands. Then I am free, he whispered. I am free. The air in the room shifted, as though the house itself had exhaled a long-held breath. Chijioke's form began to shimmer, faintly at first, then more intensely, until his body seemed to dissolve into the light, his essence swirling around her. She closed her eyes, not in fear, but in acceptance. When she opened them again, the room was quiet. There was no Chijioke standing before her, no man to hold her in his arms. But she could feel him, feel his presence around her, like a warm, comforting embrace. And though he was no longer in the physical world, Nkechi knew one thing for certain. She had set him free, and in doing so she had also freed herself. Their love, though beyond the reach of the living, would remain eternal. As the days passed, the village spoke of the mysterious couple, of the bride who married a ghost, and of the love that transcended even death itself. And in the quiet moments of the night, when the moon shone brightly through her window, Nkechi would smile, knowing that Chijioke was still with her, his love surrounding her like a gentle, unseen force.